Hello everyone, a friendly internet basilisk here, and just as promised, this is a video on the Dungeon Master's Guide, the new one for 2024, and my thoughts about it and briefly comparing it to the 2014 variant. I don't have much to say about this except that I personally feel that the new DMG is a downgrade compared to the old Dungeon Master's Guide. There's, for starters, the only real good thing I could say about this new Dungeon Master's Guide, would compare in comparison to the old one, is that it's much better for new DMs. There's a lot of preliminary information that if you're going to try to DM, there's a lot of it that's already in this DMG that you can read and absorb. And a lot of these tips are very good for new DMs. But I don't think it doesn't have but as you can see for the rest of this book, I don't think it really offers much for a lot of the more experienced, like veteran DMs. So I think that even if a third of the book is like dedicated to that, the other, I think, at least a fifth of it is dedicated to settings. There's a lot of good setting information in there, and this is the same thing with the 2014 book. And that's really all the good stuff I can say about this. There's a lot of information that they ripped out from this Dungeon Master's Guide, like moving from 2014 to 2024, and I as I said, it's not an improvement. There is not a lot of rule variants here. I know that, for example, like in the 2014 version, they actually introduce the concept of downtime, that adventurers can do when they're not going out and delving into dungeons or getting into their usual hijinks and shenanigans. That's not really in here anymore. There's no adventuring day balancing. There's no monster math. And the only thing they really added in this is bastions. And I don't think the bastions themselves are very well implemented. I think that there's other third party stuff that's better than this. It just feels like a structure is just effectively drop down on the players and say, hey, figure this out. You just get a lot of free extra stuff that you can worry about, and that's already a lot moving into the second tier. The other thing is that they still haven't given the DMs like a much better way, a more streamlined way to give out treasure. It just seems like, hey, just hand it out in any way that you want, and that's not really the way to go. So I'm gonna conclude this video, and I'll say, if there's any of the 2024 rule books that you want to skip on, this is definitely the one. And if you already skipped on this and you already have the 2014 version, you're not really going to miss much. Like, aside from Enspell weapons, which are apparently very busted and something that you probably don't want to introduce into your games in the first place. So, unfortunately, this is the weakest of the core rule books. Highly recommend, if you are not interested really in the new edition, don't get it. At least with the monster manual, it was fairly worth it to get it, even if you were still playing the 2014 version. So, with that, that's it. Hopefully I'll make some more videos in the future, and I'll see you guys later.